In the middle of Sudan, where the earth is swept by dry winds, huge herds of meager cows search for the sparse grass. It is the end of the dry season, and the men of the Shilluk tribe fear for their cattle, threatened with exhaustion and disease. Only one man can reassure them, the King God, whose divine ancestor, like Moses, brought the Shilluks through the desert to this promised land. This divine ancestor is known here by the name of Kang. The King God is a man of imposing stature and excellent health. He personifies the Shilluk ideal. His subjects can come and salute him as they please.
The
king is filled with the spirit of Kang. He alone can protect us from epidemics and starvation. By sacrificing his best beast, he assures the well-being of our herd, our wives and children. Only his strength and power can keep the diseases away. But if he weakens, tradition demands that we slit his throat, so that the spirit can pass on to his successor.
I am still in good health, thank you. Don't worry. I will sacrifice my strongest bull to prevent your sons and cattle from getting sick.
The king has no other recourse than the religious and symbolic rite of sacrificing Blackneck, the strongest bull of his herd. Several sorcerers, possessed by the spirits of the ancestors, knock over the bull and place green grass from the bank of the Nile on his stomach, a symbolic way of feeding the bull before they kill him. Then the initiate, possessed by a spirit, takes position on the breast of the bull and starts talking to the animal. He beseeches him to give back good health to the women and children being placed on his belly. Finally, in a sacrifice to spare human lives, the bull is put to death. Covered with blood, the royal totem, the shape of a phallus, will now protect the Shilluks and their herds from disease and starvation. The king, surrounded by kneeling servants, stands alone in the center of the village, where only his wives are allowed to stay. He owns 100 of them, who not only bring him water from the Nile, but also give him so many offspring that he will not be forgotten for ages to come. It is the king's elder sister who has the power to designate and to prepare the royal brides by smearing them with her own saliva to ensure their fecundity.
I am responsible for the king's wives. I know when they are fertile, and I point them out to the king. I order the fertile wives to prepare him a meal. The king will taste the dishes of those wives, and he will then finish the meal with a wife of his choice.
When the king's wives prepare his meal, each in front of her own house, they can only move around on their knees by respect for the divine person he represents, and this even in his absence. As the long day comes to an end, the king starts making his daily selection. As night falls, the warriors circle around the village to ensure the king's security. If the king is ill or has a weakness, tradition would allow the Shilluk to slit his throat so that his breath, carrier of good health, would be transmitted to his successor. Should the illness of the king last, it would bring about the dissemination of the people and all of their herds. So, during his great privileged nights, the king of the Shilluk is always haunted by the fear of being killed. In fact, tradition forbids all adult members of the royal family to die a natural death. So it was that when the princess, sister of the king, fell seriously ill, her throat was slit. Then the Shilluk set up a magnificent burial ceremony for her. On such an occasion, only women have the authorization to approach the tomb of the king's sister. They tell her about their pains, implore her blessings, and remind her of their faithfulness. From all over Shilluk land, combat units come to pay their last homage to the deceased. The warriors take position in front of the women, in a symbolic confrontation. Their sham attack triggers the immediate reaction of the woman whose duty is to keep the warriors away from the tomb. They all pay their last respects to the princess, who through death reaches the Shilluk's highest social status, that of an immortal ancestor. Her tomb is cleaned, and only the royal totem bull horns will remain. At the end of the ceremony, the warriors of the royal clan pay their respect to the king, who was not allowed to attend the funeral.
We have respected the wish of our ancestor Ni Kang. Be brave and alert. We have to protect the traditions which guarantee the good health of our tribe.
The funeral is over. The king retires, ready to designate another sister to select his wives. We cannot help but wonder about the strange destiny of this king, a solitary giant in the middle of the Sudanese plains, permanently threatened by death because his mystical power has to ensure the fertility of his herd, and he must increase the population of his tribe through the strength and good health of his own body.